So some people have been asking about my long distance on and off-road setup on my KLR. I keep it set up 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so I can just take off anytime I want, just throw on my gear and go. Throw on camping gear, I can take off for a week or two or however long I need to go, but I keep it ready to go so I can just hop on and go. Some of the mods I've done, I've got a Shinko 804 front tire. It works okay. It'll be replaced with a 705 for the winter, but right now it's not bad. I've got a KX250F front fender UFO. I just like the looks of it better. The stock one worked okay, but I just think this one looks better. I've got a Schiltz Racing prototype fork brace that he sold me that is awesome. Works awesome. I can't say enough good things about it. I'm running the stock front springs with a 3/8 inch spacer for preload, and it's okay. It can be better, but for right now it's all right. Moving up top, I've got the Solo Box riser kit with a zero gravity sport touring shield on it, which is awesome for the road, not so much for the dirt. I put my stock shield back on, but I keep the riser kit. Up here, I've got a custom dash that I built. It bolts right here to the through the factory holes here with the factory bolts. On it, I've got my cell phone RAM mount. I've got an extra RAM ball. I've got a 3BR swivel USB that is awesome. It's the best one I found. It charges consistently at 1.5 volts, or 1.45 volts, excuse me. I don't use a GPS. I use a dedicated Android cell phone with no service, just a GPS, and that works awesome. And then I can put my iPhone over here if I need to. I'm running ROX risers with a Rocky Mountain ATV Tusk Chub Bar, CR High Bend. Works great. This is just a cheapo $5 eBay cover that's held on by a $10 eBay waterproof watch that's been on here for over a year, and it is perfect. Can't fault it for anything. Separate RAM mount over here, ball for when I'm with a group of people. I run a spot tracker and I put it on the bike. When I'm by myself, I carry the spot tracker on my jacket in case I get ejected off the bike. I have it with me. These are just some cheap eBay aluminum handguards that I don't know, seem to work great. I've got holes drilled in them right here and here for the stock handguards, KLR stock handguards. I bolt on over those for the winter. They give me a good platform for my hippo hands to wrap around also. I use a cramp buster and I use a Go Cruise for long distances. I take the Go Cruise off for the dirt because it gets in the way, but it works awesome for the highway. I run a Wolfman small enduro bag, which fits on the KLR perfect, as you can see. I think it's just awesome. And I've got the straps hooked to the tank with zip ties and adhesive little patches here, so the straps stay on all the time so they don't fall off if I don't use the bag. These are VersaPacks from petandhorse.com, $13.99, and I can tell you guys, these things are amazing. I've got them hooked on here. You can see it goes to the frame of the fairing, zip tie, little padding so it doesn't scratch it, and then just a mount here that goes through the factory holes with a zip tie, and just a bungee, but it doesn't move around at all. Inside, I carry up top is a stock foam filter, air filter, all oiled up, ready to go, and a front tube, a rag, and I'm not sure what else is down there. I think that's it in this side. And then on the outside pocket, I have a pack with my jumper cables and what else is in here? Air pressure gauge and a few more electrical connections. And a multi-tool is in the bottom, and then I don't have anything in the outside right now. That's just for extra storage. I run Tusk the large Tusk Panniers. This is the third bike these have been on. They're still absolutely waterproof. I've gone down with them on the trail, you know, they're nicked up. I've got some dings and dents in them, and they're still 100% waterproof. Pretty awesome. I've got them mounted on dirt racks with quick releases. The dirt racks are okay. They seem a little flimsy to me, but hey, they've held up so far, so I can't fault them too much. I put some hooks on the panniers here to tie more stuff down. I just keep bungee cords, rock straps, and extra gloves in the panniers for day-to-day use. Maybe an extra jacket if it's going to be hot or cold. This is the power for my air compressor. I put it between the two wheels so I can reach it for both tires. I use a stop and go, works awesome. These are some used GV bars I bought from another person on the internet here. They work great. Some cheap eBay highway pegs for the highway. They rattle a little bit, but you know, the whole bike rattles, so what the hell. I keep a little bit of paracord wrap there just for an emergency. If I have to, I can cut the end and pull it off real quick if I'm lying on my side or something and I need some rope. Happy Trail skid plate because I like the way it covered the entire water pump. Some off-road, I've got the J&S lowering peg brackets and some off-road pegs, and I'm old and my knees and ankles don't bend like they used to, so I cut and reshaped and re-welded the brake pedal so it's lower, then I can adjust it for my feet. That works awesome. I just bought the Happy Trails reservoir guard just for the hell of it. Who knows, it might help someday. I'm running a Heidenau K60, a 140 in the rear, and believe it or not, guys, this tire has almost 10,000 miles on it, and it's still got 60 to 70% tread left. They are a pretty awesome tire, I gotta say. Hard to change on the trail, but geez, I'm getting 16,000 miles out of these things. Top Pelican, Seahorse SC630 box. I've got them on all my bikes, waterproof, fairly cheap, like 50 bucks shipped. And inside of here, I keep everything. So what I got a first aid kit, stays with me all the time. Windex wipes, baby wipes to clean up with. My Baja no pinch tool. This is the amazing tool. I don't ride without it. When I go to, if I ride my other bike, I just put it in the saddlebags of the other bike. It goes with me everywhere. In here is a air compressor and a lithium-ion jump starter that's also a auxiliary power source for charging personal devices. A foldable camp saw, which last time I went camping cut up all my firewood for 2 days. That's awesome. A survival knife here with a, I don't know, it's got to be at least a 12-inch blade, and a compass. Some little doodads hidden the handle of it there, and just some extra rope. This is a Motion Pro trail stand for changing tires or lubing the chain. It's awesome. Cheap, like 25 bucks. What else? Oh, and underneath all this, you can see I've got the repair manual, the Climber KLR650 repair manual I keep with me, because chances are if I break down somewhere, I'm going to need to find out how to fix it. KLR specific tools in here. Everything in that fits this bike. I went through it several times, took out everything that didn't fit the bike, kept in everything that does. This was an impulse buy at Cycle Gear. It was on this closeout rack for $5. It's a mini socket set that is pretty awesome. I use it all the time on this bike. It doesn't weigh much. It was $5, and it's great for taking off the side panel, for getting to the air cleaner. Yeah, it's awesome. So that stays in there all the time. Lock it up. The other Tusk pannier. This is my tool tube I built. It goes behind the pannier, and in there is two 12-inch spoons, a zip tie 18-inch collapsible spoon, two little tiny vice grips for holding the tire on the rim as I'm working my way around, spare shift lever. I had a Tusk shift lever that I didn't use after I lowered the pegs. Put it in there for an emergency in case I break a shift lever in the middle of nowhere. And there's also a valve stem snake, which if you guys look it up, it's an amazing tool for, you know, $4 or whatever I paid for it, for getting your valve stem through the hole of the rim. It's awesome. I upgraded the rear shock spring. It's got a 9.9 EBOC from Race Tech on there. I'm a big guy, 275. It works good, but I need a new shock. The spring oversprings the shock, so that's coming. And then in this pannier over here, this tank pannier, on the outside I have a container, or this is the rest of the paracord. It's great for tents and stuff when you break something. And then there's a spare USB charger in here that I can plug into where my battery tender, or my stop and go, plugs into. So if I need to charge more than one device, or somebody needs to charge something and I'm charging my phone or whatever, we can plug in there at camp, get them all taken care of, and pick that up later, or I'll forget and drive off without it. Up in the top here is a tow strap. Now these things, I don't know if you've ever broke down or somebody's broke down with you and had to tow them. This MSR extra long tow strap, and I go from the foot peg to the foot peg of the bike behind. You can watch, there's different ways to do it. That's the way that I've seen that I like. Keeps it down low, but it's worth its weight in gold when you need it. And just a spare thing of wire. You never know, something's gonna rub through or short out in the middle of nowhere. And then in the top up here, I have the bead buddy, bead popper, I should say. This thing, as you can see, it's been wailed on for many years. It works absolutely phenomenal for breaking the bead in the middle of nowhere. I even use it in my garage. Weighs nothing, couple ounces, takes up a little bit of space. You can hit it with a rock. But you work your way around with this. There's not even on the hide now on the K60, which is like a truck tire, you can still break the bead with this thing. And front or rear tube, whatever the other one is, this is the opposite of it. And my LED headlamp we keep in here. So that's about it. Oh yeah, and the other one over here, you'll see this little bottle. That is motor oil that I use for chain lube. I've used motor oil for the last 10 years. Some people don't like it, some people laugh at me, but hey, I always have it. It works awesome. You know, O-ring chain, you only really have to lube the rollers and keep the O-rings moist so they don't dry out. So anyway, that's how I keep my bike. That's the way it's set up all the time. And I ride it every day to work, and then weekend trips and off-road, on-road. I don't have to do anything, so I put my gear on, throw on a sleeping bag and a tent, and I'm good to go for however long I need to be out there. You know, I'll throw some water in the tank bag. In my tank bag, I keep another battery charger for devices and some electrical tape and zip ties and just whatnot like that, spare key hidden. Yeah, ready to go. Oh yeah, I also modified the shifter on this side because I couldn't get it low enough because it hits those stupid brackets down here. But I just cut it and moved it down. It's kind of hard to see. I guess I probably moved it down close to ½ an inch, and now it's perfect. Now I can get my foot on it and off of it, under it, over it, everything I needed to do, because my ankles just don't bend like they used to. So there it is, my KLR650, ready to go all the time. Later.